Lurch?
Yeah.
You want to know how to have a fresh smelling and squeaky clean butt before riding your motorcycle?
I guess.
Well, I'm going to tell you how. Get hooked up with Dude Wipes flushable wet wipes. Oh, yeah. Your butt will smell like a breath of fresh air.
That's ridiculous.
It's like a breath mint in your ass.
What?
Just, dude, support us and head over to lawabidingbiker.com/fresh-butt, B-U-T-T. That's /fresh-butt. No additional cost to you, but we do get a small commission if you click through and make a purchase. It helps support us. We, right here, don't just test motorcycles. We're testing flushable ass wipes. And I'm stuck on the mint. But Lurch is making me try some non-scented. I haven't dug into them, but I will say that I just got out of the restroom about 45 minutes ago. We are running low on the mint.
Oh, so we'll be able to try the unscented pretty soon.
And we'll tell you, do we have any other scents?
Just those two that I'm aware of.
And Lurch has the travel packs too.
Yeah, you can get a little 30-pack, these little, here, you can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Little looks like a condom package, to be honest with you. And
Fit right? Discreet. You can be discreet, like a lady with her feminine products.
The other day I was thinking, when I was younger, I used to carry a condom in my pocket. Now I carry a butt wipe. That tells How times have changed.
It tells us our age, dude. All right, here's the deal. You're going on a trip. You're looking in the law-abiding biker store. You're like, I need that. I need that in my life. You reach in your pockets. Bam, you pull out a dime and some lint and an old condom from high school. That's all you got in the palm of your hand. You're like, shoot, I can't get it. You want to know what, Lurch?
What?
It's not true. Because right now, that's right. We have integrated shop pay installments right in the law-abiding biker store. You now have the option to buy products right now, knowing you can pay in 4 equal payments, interest-free. And we just implemented shop pay monthly installments, which do have an interest tag to them. But you could actually just make monthly payments. And you can get that item, and you can be happy and ride on down the road on your trip. We got a voicemail. Let's see who called us. Who's calling us? This is great.
Hey, guys, what's up? I just caught kind of the last 20 minutes of your podcast, first time tuning in, but I've been watching your channel for about a couple weeks now. I recently installed the Fosgate system. My name was Shift26 on that last podcast. I was kind of commenting towards the end there. And I'm an installer here in Southern California. Well, I'm also in IT, and I used to install, and I kind of go back and forth and still do the stuff on the side. But it's the first time doing a Harley, and I have a Street Glide, did it on my own bike. But had some questions, comments, maybe wanted to ask you guys. And then I also looked at that Boss system, and that Boss amp looks just like the Fosgate amp I recently installed, so that was kind of funny. But I know Boss kind of copies stuff. But good information. Glad to hear what you guys are talking about. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you since you guys know more about these bike systems than I do, and had questions about subwoofers and, obviously doing custom stuff or that drop-in kit like the Harleys have or Fosgate makes. I did it, and I mean, it sounds decent. Would I pay that much again for it? I'm not sure, but yeah, if you have a chance, give me a call. Just wanted to see if maybe I could talk to one of you guys.
All right. We really appreciate it. You want to clean that up and tell him what he's referencing?
Yeah, we just recorded a live podcast yesterday, and it was all about...
On the YouTube?
On the YouTuber. It was all about the Boss audio system, the BHD3F system that we installed in a 2017 Street Glide. And it is a phenomenal stereo system for the price. It's a budget price of only $569, but it sounds twice as good as that price. And we compare it to some other big name brands. But during those live podcasts, we have chat going. Mm-hmm. And his username was Shift26. And he was asking about subwoofers and what we thought about subwoofers, the Harley ones versus others. And the truth is we don't have a whole lot of experience with them at this point. Harley with Rockford Fosgate partnered up, and the new systems are made by Rockford Fosgate. And they do make some drop-in subwoofers that drop into your saddlebag, and then you can disconnect them and pull them out if you want for trips. So don't have any real experience with them. Look forward to trying some, but the thing about subwoofers on a motorcycle is they're just for show. I mean, when you're going down the road, you're not going to feel or hear much of it, especially if they're saddlebags. You're basically leaving that sound behind. You need a little bit higher frequency sounds to be able to hear it on a motorcycle. But if you're parked somewhere and want to rock out, I mean, it'll definitely throw some sound. So Look for some testing of those in the future. But at this point, for me, it's not worth it for my money. And that's kind of what he was saying there is, sounds good, but I don't know if I would do it again for the cost.
Yep. That Boss Audio podcast we did is on YouTube. It was public, free, live for everybody, not just patron members, which most of them we do for patron members. It's up on YouTube, and also it will come out in regular podcast format. lawabidingbiker.com/contact. He simply went there and left us a voicemail from his computer microphones for free anywhere in the world, guys. You can leave us a voicemail. We love playing them here. And don't forget the podcast hotline phone number. Do you remember that, Lurch?
Let me see if I could just think of it. I'm trying to get to it. It's 509-731-3548.
There you go. 509-731-3548.
3548.
There you go, guys. We just had a message. That's actually where that came from. Never mind. That wasn't that. He actually called us on our podcast hotline. That's how that you can leave it right from your phone there. If you have our app, you can leave it right from inside the app. There's a call button, and lawabidingbiker.com/app. You can get our free app for iOS or Android. There you go. Want to ride longer?
Yep.
Tired of sort of achy ass?
You know it.
Then fix it with a high quality butt buffer seat cushion. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full lineup of butt buffer seat cushions. Oh yeah, once you've used Rick Rack, you'll never go back. The ultimate motorcycle luggage rack solution. Forget those messy straps and bungee cords. Go strapless with a Rick Rack quick attach luggage system and quality bag. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Get hooked up now. Hey, Bikeaholics, Zero 3D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for the all-new Honda Goldwing named Gold Strike. Top quality, affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. Zero Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full line of Zero 3D products. Here we are. We're coming back at you here. That's right. Been cranking out the content. Been busy.
Been very busy last few weeks.
Welcome back, you freaking Bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the Big MM, also known as the
99%.
Large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history. By listening, you're part of what we call the hashtag
Biker Revolution.
Oh, we do have just one question for you. Before we get started, what are you waiting for, Bikeaholics?
Mount up and let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
There you go. Welcome back, guys. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker podcast, and your
high-tech redneck.
In the house with me. That's right. Lurch is here with me, and we have been cranking out the podcast, or cranking out the content, I should say, including podcast. Now, we've got a great episode for you guys. It's a real-world Harley Street Glide ST ride and review. And there is a new video out on the YouTube channel, and if you haven't seen it, please go over there and check it out. Please also share it across all your social media platforms. We really appreciate that. Helps bump us up in the rankings so more bikers around the world can see it and join this thing we call the Biker Revolution. It's over at lawabidingbiker.com/street-glide-st. That's street-glide-st. Or lawabidingbiker.com/whatever episode number this is. We'll make sure and put a link to that video. It is a real-world Harley Street Glide review, ST review, and we're going to talk about the making of that video in this episode, and we're also going to dive in deep about the ST and what we thought of it, because both Lurch and I were able to test ride it. We had it for 30 days loaned to us from Harley-Davidson, and so we're going to break that down for you. Don't forget, guys, make sure you're subbed over on the YouTube channel. We're at 171,000 subscribers. When we hit 200K, I'm going to release for free on the YouTube channel, our awesome, much anticipated Sturgis documentary film. If you want to get it now, it's just $7.95 over at lawabidingbiker.com/ride-now. That helps support us, but sub too, because we want to get up to that 200K so I can release that, and we're on our way there. Doing a lot of stuff over on the Instagram, a lot of stuff you won't see anywhere else. If you are not following us on Instagram, you are missing out. It's at Scrappy587. That's at SCRAPPY587. Give us a follow over there and see all the cool behind the scenes stuff we're doing. Facebook, it's facebook.com/lawabidingbiker. Same with Twitter, lawabidingbiker, and YouTube is youtube.com/Ryan Erlacher. There you go. And don't forget to turn on your notifications on your phone, guys, for YouTube, because we're popping random lives on YouTube and we're doing YouTube shorts and all kinds of stuff. So make sure you turn on your alerts so you do not miss out. Now, we love our paying sponsors up front, but they help us keep going here. We're going 9 years and going strong here at Law Abiding Biker Media. And want to thank the following people because they're a direct result of why we are still here, and they are some of our newest patron members.
Roger Laudier of Tacoma, Washington. Kyle Hayes of Fircrest, Washington. Those guys are dang near neighbors.
Dang right.
Kyle's top tier. And Ken Jackman of Niceville, Florida.
Sean Bursey of Saskatoon, Canada. Shout out Canada. Yeah, sure, you betcha. That's what it's all about. Paul Scott of Palmer, Alaska. Michael Gray of Concord, North Carolina, top tier.
Mike Audi, he was in the chat yesterday, of Avoca, Pennsylvania, top tier. Quinn Shy of Vallejo, California, and Peter Samuelson.
And finishing it out with Irvin O'Neill of Little Rock, Arkansas, top tier. Mark Zorbas of San Diego, California, top tier. And Jim Morris of Fort Wayne, Indiana, top tier. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. That's right. Pledge a certain amount per piece of content. No risk to you because you can put a monthly cap. That's right. There are benefits. Lots of benefits, such as t-shirts and stickers. Get access to the private Facebook group, which is a troll-free zone. Nothing but bikers, helping bikers in there. The best motorcycle forum on the interwebs. I guarantee it. Access to podcasts, early live video broadcasts and chat, premium videos, and access to those ride, meetup, and events. No better time to become a patron member, and we're continuing to grow over there. And God bless each and every one of you for becoming a patron member and helping us help pay for all the content and all the hard work that goes on putting out all the free content we do, which 95% of our content is completely free to the biker community, going on 9 years now. So there you go. So let's dive into the main topic. I'll get it started here. So Harley, if you haven't seen also recently, as of the recording of this podcast, the date of the recording of this podcast, I just put out on the YouTube channel. I went down to Santa Barbara, California on Harley's dime. I wasn't paid or anything, but they did take me down there, fly me down there, hotel meals. One day I got to test ride and review the new Harley Nightster, and the next day I got to ride and review the Lowrider ST. Both really cool bikes, unique and so much different from each other. Those are up on the YouTube channel. They're really doing well. Please go over to the YouTube channel. Even if you're not planning on getting one, there's a lot to know about those bikes and some of the direction Harley is going in those films that I made, those ride and review, because you guys know how I do it. It's just not just a ride and review. I put some thought and some deep thinking on where the company's going and things like that. So get over there and check those out along with this video, of course, the Street Glide ST ride and review. So they did give us this bike. Didn't take me anywhere, but 30 days they gave it to us, shipped it up here. And you'll see all that in the film. There's just kind of a fun beginning of us actually getting the bike on a pallet and, and unstrapping it and they pull the main fuse, getting the main fuse in it. But I popped some stuff in there, some fun stuff. It got shipped to our local dealership. Shout out Apple State Power Sports in Yakima, Washington for assisting us getting that bike unloaded and all that kind of stuff. But so we really had some time with this bike. The other bike, sometimes, when Harley flies us down, which is really cool and it's really fun and I love it, but we only get one day with the bike. Here, I had 30 days. So a lot of the time riding this bike, we weren't even filming. We were literally just riding it and testing it so we can give you a deeper dive here in the podcast. We did film a lot in multiple different locations, and we'll talk about some of the fun stuff that's not on the video, some of the debacles and things that happen when we're running and gunning.
There's always debacles.
Always debacles.
Something's going to go wrong.
Guaranteed. And we were running and gunning because we were trying to film this ST review in the midst of me leaving for Santa Barbara for 4 days and then getting back and trying to edit those videos. And then we were still doing podcasts and we were still doing other projects. And then we were trying to film this in between every chance. And the weather's been shitty.
The weather's been horrible this spring. Usually when we get into May, we're getting up into the 70s and the rain's gone away. Those April showers are gone. But this year, it seems like spring's just holding on a little bit longer. It's still kind of crappy right now.
We had to check the weather app each day because we didn't want to film in the rain. And so we literally had to work around projects. We would just stay in the studio because it was raining all day. And then when we did get out and it was actually not raining. And even though it was cloudy on some of the film days, we just had to those were packed days. We had to grab all the shots that we could get. And I did some of it on my own. Some of the B-roll stuff of the bike in front of the river and all that kind of stuff. We just, it really, what should I say? It really hindered us. The weather hindered us on how quickly we could get this out. Now,
so hold on. Speaking of the weather, I got a question for you. If April showers bring Mayflowers, what do Mayflowers bring?
Mayflowers bring happy wives.
Pilgrims.
Oh, pilgrims. Oh.
That's your daily dad joke.
There you go. Definitely. He's got a wet wipe in his pocket, a dude wipe, personal size, and he's telling dad jokes. Yep. Just like it looks like a condom. All right. So the ST it was fun. We got the gunship gray. And again, go check out the video, but it shows the bike, of course, and the one that we actually got. Yeah. Where should we go? Where should we start with this?
Boy, that's a good. We can talk about just maybe a little bit of some of the specs. What makes it different from Street Glide Special? And one of the first things that I was really curious about and wanted to see how much of a difference it really made was the fact that on the ST, it has a standard height rear shock, meaning it's got a 13-inch shock, same height as the Electra and the Ultras. Whereas the Specials, the Road Glide and Street Glide Special, have an inch lower suspension in the back, 12-inch, more for styling more than anything. I was curious how much difference in handling that 1 inch would make, and it makes quite a bit. I wish I would have learned this lesson before I ordered new suspension for the rear of my bike. That might have to come off, and I might have to go with that inch taller. But
right,
it does make a difference in clearance. But it also makes a difference in handling too, because you're more level and more upright on the bike. It seems to be, to me anyways, a little bit more responsive to input.
Yep. And so bringing that bike up inch is now obviously all of you that have been listening for a long time realize or know that I'm a full-time police motorcycle officer and instructor. And so I can loosely compare it to my actually, it's not even loosely comparison, but I can compare it to my police 2018 Electra Glide, which it's an Electra Glide, so it sits an inch higher in the back in comparison to my 2014 Street Glide Special, which is an inch lower. And so that extra inch, essentially, this bike was, it's inspired by King of the Baggers series. We did an episode on King of the Baggers. Check it out, guys. I don't remember what episode did we already publish it. I don't even know if we published it.
Oh, I don't know. I'll look as you're talking.
But we did an episode. It will be coming out if it's not.
I think it's out, but I'll look.
King of the Baggers, guys, really cool racing those baggers around the tracks, and it's fun. And that's really where this bike was inspired from. And we'll talk a little bit later in the episode, kind of a deeper dive into what Harley's thinking with this bike. But I really wanted to know, in the video, I really break it down, and we'll break it down in this podcast for you too. Like, who's this bike for, and why would you go with this over a Street Glide Special? But we'll answer those questions kind of towards the end after we finish reviewing it and telling you kind of what we learned. But
episode 297, King of the Baggers. What's it all about?
There you go, lawabidingbiker.com/297, or just hit up 297 on your favorite podcast listening app. But that 1 inch gives you essentially more lean angle. I did note right away when we got it out, and we did some pretty awesome cornering on it. We got some really cool shots in the film, and I will tell you that going around steep corners, sharp corners, I definitely noticed right away, because on my Street Glide Special, just because my police bike sits an inch higher, then I get on my Street Glide Special, and it feels so low because I'm in the floorboards in no time at all.
Yeah, we swapped bikes more than once. You'd jump on my bike, and I'd get on the ST, and you'd go from the ST to my bike, and I could hear you dragging
on your Road Glide.
On my Road Glide Special as we were turning corners.
Yeah, because I was so used to this the ST that I would just lean over and right in the floorboards. So I did note right away going around sharp corners, but make no mistake about it, obviously with more lean angle means that I can lean more, and I could lean and obviously get in those floorboards, and you'll see that in the video and hear some of that dragging to the floorboards around corners. So, is this a race bike? Well, no. King of the Baggers, those bikes have mid controls. They take the baggers, they completely raise them. They put, those things, I don't even know what the lean angle is on them, but they got a crazy sports bike lean angle.
Yeah, they made changes to the primaries and all kinds of stuff to keep them from dragging. So they've got, it's like a sport bike. They've got their knee on the pavement as they're going through corners.
Yep, and they're not dragging any parts. So don't think you're going to get on this and be, king of the baggers. That's not the case. It is inspired from that. And there's a slew of aftermarket parts. We'll talk about shocks when we get to the suspension portion. But I did note that it does take longer to get into the floorboards and does give you more clearance. And so for that, I like it. And now Lurch and I liked it so much that we're in the midst of, we're going to be selling Olin suspension in the Law Abiding Biker store. And on my Street Glide Special, it's a 14. I've never upgraded the suspension because we're always working on everybody else's bike. And the suspension on my 14 is pretty rough. And so we're going to upgrade it to Olin's suspension, and we'll do a video on it, and it will be coming to the Law Abiding Biker store. And I actually decided, Lurch asked me, now that we got rid of the ST, do I want to raise my Street Glide Special an inch in the back? Because you can order different Olins, and I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I need to raise that bike in the back because I lean so much, and my 14's dragging so often. That'll just give me more clearance. So that is an option if you guys didn't know that you can do. And then it'll be more like my police bike as far as clearance. And I will say before we move on, we actually just got back, like literally right now, from turning the Street Glide ST into the dealership because they're going to ship it back. So we took it down, rushed back here, and we're spitting this episode. So I did note that as far as everything else, all your controls are really familiar. Nothing's changed there as far as the control clusters on the left and the control clusters on the right, coming with the boombox infotainment system. Now, on this podcast and on the YouTube channel, you're always going to get an honest review. We don't hold anything back. Even though Harley sent us the bike, they've never told me what I can and can't say, or I simply wouldn't do the reviews. One of my complaints, and it's a complaint across the board with special models and with the ST, is that I just think Harley at this point, you get the bike and then you want to get a wireless headset, Bluetooth headset. You have to have by a whim, a wireless headset interface module. It's no different on the ST. The CVOs are the only ones coming with the whims. And so you've got to add this part. Now, we did a video on that. You can just go to our website and use the search WHIM, and you'll come up with our free video on how to install a whim and get the software updated in it. But it's my take. It's one of my complaints, not just on the ST, but like I say, the special models that they absolutely, I just think Harley this is like, I equate it to buying a new car and it has a infotainment system in your car, but you have to buy something to pair your phone with it. Oh yeah, it's really capable, but now you got to buy. I just think it's ridiculous. We know that guys are going to want to rent headsets with the boombox, and to activate Apple CarPlay, you need a Harley branded wireless or wired Harley branded headset to activate Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. There you go. There's my rant. I just think Harley, just stop already. Put the whim. That unit should be ready to go for bikers when they get on the bike. Up the price just a little bit if you have to. Don't, but if you have to, it just should be their standard.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be just part of it. It's frustrating that you have to add that on there, and I think most people do.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to get the capability if you want Apple CarPlay to work. I guess you can use your 7-pin and you can plug in up, but you're still going to have to buy an HD branded. If you haven't seen, we did a video recently on the YouTube channel where we go over all the Senna stuff and whether non-branded Harley Sennas work with the boombox and whether Apple CarPlay. We did extensive testing. It's on the YouTube channel. It's one of our most recent videos, or go to the website and it's one of our most recent articles. With that said, we'll dive in just a little bit deeper right after we do this.
Hey, Bikeaholics, searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? 03D has the products you dream about for your bike. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson and Honda Goldwing motorcycles. 03D's got your back with chrome and black parts, lighting, and other comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for an easy installation that equals less time installing and more time riding. Zero 3D has a design team of riders with over 40 years of experience with a passion for design and innovation. Zero and Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them via email at sales@zero3d.com or give them a call at 715-808-0027. Check at your local Harley or Honda dealership and ask for Zero and Gold Strike parts. A new leader has emerged, so check out Zero 3D's custom line of Gold Strike products for the all-new Honda Goldwings. Better yet, help support us and head on over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and check out our full line of Zero 3D products.
There you go, guys. All right, so let's move into, I think I want to move into rider modes. So the ST is not coming with ride modes, nor are the special models coming with ride modes. So the ST is no difference. And what I mean by ride modes is rain, street, and road. It does come with traction control. And basically on the traction control, it's on the left-hand side, and you basically get rain or regular traction control. And it's basically stuck on. Every time you start the bike, it's going to be on. It's going to be in regular traction control mode. Now you can defeat it, which I really appreciate. You can defeat it by simply, you have to be stopped, and then you just hold up for 3 seconds on the traction control button on your rocker switch on your left control cluster, and then you'll get a light on your dash that says TC. It's orange. That means traction control is disabled, so you are able to defeat it, and I do like that, especially if I was riding aggressively on our police motor course. I would want that disabled just because it hinders you from going fast sometimes where you want to go in patterns faster and things like that. So I did appreciate that they had that, and you may appreciate that too. So coming with, it is coming with all the rider safety enhancements. Remember if I forget any, Lurch, but they used to call it RDRS, right? Reflex Defensive Rider System. Now they're calling it rider enhancements, but it's coming with ABS standard. Of course, it's coming with cornering, ABS cornering, traction control, regular traction control, coming with hill assist. And did I forget anything?
The linked brakes.
Linked brakes, yep.
Drag slip torque control.
There you go.
And tire pressure monitoring systems wrapped in there too.
So those are all wrapped in the rider enhancements, and that comes standard on this bike. And those things are nice to have. Now, I will tell you that we went down, and jump in anytime you want, Lurch. I know I'm talking a lot. We will get to when you rode it too. In the video, pretty cool. Like I said, we test bikes different than a lot of other channels. It's just based on my experience. And I actually took it out on the motors course. We have video of that. I actually took it through some keyhole, really tight police spec cone patterns, and I did some other stuff. So make sure you check out the video. I really wanted to see about this bike, and I wanted to see how well balanced it was, and I wanted to see, the lean angle on it and all that. Additionally, we took it to a really steep hill, and we did the hill assist, and I did emergency threshold braking going down a steep hill. Like I said, we tested the heck out of this bike. Do you want to talk about you have something to say, or why don't you talk about the suspension test we did and explain that a little bit to how we tested that? It's in the video too.
Yeah, we found a gravel road that's got some washboard in it, for lack of better terms.
Some potholes
and stuff, just to see, is that suspension and that 1 inch, how much of a difference does it make? And so you were riding, and you'll see in the video when you watch it that you could see what Ryan's feeling from his GoPro and from a drone. And then also there's probably shots of me riding alongside of him with a GoPro showing some of the suspension working. And I didn't ride it on that. So you'd have to talk about what you thought as far as the suspension on that bumpy road. 49
millimeter dual bending valve front forks, rear shocks, premium standard height, 13-inch hand adjustable rear suspension. And I found the suspension, I was actually very impressed, because even on that dirt road, you'll hear me in the video talking about it as we're going, is it wasn't bottoming out. If anything, I would say the suspension is just a little stiff, but you want it that way, especially if you're going to be cornering aggressively. You want stiffer suspension, so I assume that's why they did that. And we did adjust the suspension for my riding weight before we went, so it was all properly adjusted. But all in all, very impressed with the suspension on this bike. You won't be disappointed. And I don't think it's something you'd have to upgrade right away. Maybe as the bike ages or something, as the suspension needs to be upgraded. But out of the box, I was pretty happy with the suspension. And while we're talking about specs, let's just go over some of these. 19-inch front rear tire, 18-inch rear tire, 6-gallon fuel tank. So pretty standard there. Estimated 41 miles per gallon. If perfect conditions. We were not getting that. We were riding the heck out of that thing. As compared to the special model, which is 43 miles a gallon. Now, the other thing about this bike that they are advertising a lot is how much, or that it's lighter than the special Street Glide. Now, it's lighter than the Road Glide, the 2. But it's 814 pounds wet, this ST, in comparison to 827 pounds. What is that, 14 pounds? 13 pounds different. So is that substantial? I don't know. Did I notice it? No. 13 pounds is on a Street Glide, to me, didn't help me going through the motorcycle course. It didn't really seem to help me on corners. I didn't feel like I could throw the bike around any quicker than I can throw around my regular 14 Street Glide Special. But it is lighter, and they did that because of King of the Baggers, and they're trying to shave weight. Why don't you talk about how they shaved the weight on some things?
Well, the crash bars are a little bit different. They're smaller. They're more of a, I don't know if you call them mustache bar, but they just don't go all the way up. They're also, the rear of the bike's a little bit different, so it doesn't have the filler panel and the tri-bar.
What do you think about that? That was one of our cons on the bike.
When I first looked at it, maybe because,
explain that, the holes cut out like on an Electra.
Yeah. So the rear end, I surmise that the rear is an Electra rear end, and when you look at the rear of that bike, it doesn't have filler panels, and it doesn't have what they call the tri-bar light at the bottom of the fender.
It's big, huge cutouts, whole big oval cutouts like you guys see on Ultras.
Yeah. So the Specials, Road Glide and Street Glide, have filler panels that fill in that gap between your rear fender and your saddlebags, and also has it wraps all the way down underneath the fender and has that extra light, the tri-bar. By getting rid of that, they definitely lost some weight, but they also improved the clearance too, because you don't have the fender hanging down quite as low. So that's just a couple of items there. But
the other I'll add to that is this bike out stock doesn't have a passenger seat, so it's a solo seat, and it doesn't have passenger foot pegs. You can add those. Don't worry. If you do want to tour on this bike and you want to set it up for your passenger, you can do a 2-up seat, and you can add pegs for the passenger or floorboards. So that's how they just shave some of the weight, making it lighter. Again, it's inspired by King of the Bagger. It's supposed to better lean angle, supposed to be faster, of course, coming with the Milwaukee-Eight 117. And Hardy says the first time a non-CVO bike is coming with a CVO motor. I argue just a little bit with that. I say what Harley says on that, but just because that's how they promote it. My 2016 Dyna Lowrider S comes with a 110 Screaming Eagle. So I don't know what they mean by that. I don't think it's the first one. I think that was the first one because that was a CVO motor at the time, 2016. So I don't know. So I think I've seen that argument online before too. But Hardy says it in all their commercials. So whatever. It's not that big a deal. Coming with the 117 Milwaukee-Eight 45-degree V-twin, 4 valves per cylinder, air and oil cooled, 126 foot-pounds of torque, where the 122 for the special model, 106 horsepower. These are estimates. 100 horsepower for the special model. It's got a heavy breather intake coming out the side, dual exhaust with crossover, and the EFI, of course, was tuned for the intake and exhaust. So there you go on that. Let's do this, and then we'll dive in deeper. Are you searching for the easiest and quickest detachable luggage system for your motorcycle? Rick Rack has just what you're looking for. Forget all those frustrating straps and bungee cords that can come loose and slap your paint. Check out one of Rick Rack's quick attach strapless luggage rack systems. This father-son team designed something really special. You can't find it anywhere else. That's true. Yep. And these guys ride, so they truly understand the needs of bikers. The Rick Rack quick attach system is strong, durable, and secure with a lockable system. Also, check out their full line of quality touring bags to accompany your quick detach system. Once you use Rick Rack, you'll never go back. What are you waiting for, Bikeaholics? Head over to Law Abiding Biker Store and check out our full line of Rick Rack systems and bags. And we will all be rocking the Rick Rack systems, many of us on our crossed multiple state trip to Minnesota this year. And of course, we'll be making a documentary film while we are doing that, of course. All right, so let's dive back in as we're just packed with information here. Talk about, this was another con of the bike. You want to talk about the electric? At least you didn't put electrical.
Oh, I know. But I did write incandescent bulbs again down there.
Oh, yeah, you did. You're talking about houses.
Halogen, yeah, sorry. We've got so many of these reviews and so many projects going on that
I know.
It's starting to get shit mixed up.
We always have to do that, check ourselves too. Go, was that the lowrider ST or was that the ST?
Well, especially now we got STs and S's and everything going on. It can be a bit confusing. But yeah, one of the cons is, they're putting a LED headlight and LED tail light on the bikes, and most of them, and on this one in particular, but they still have the halogen turn signal bulbs. I don't understand.
Yep. It is interesting.
I know companies like Ciro appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it because we sell Ciro stuff. But
honestly, even if it had LED bulbs, they would probably just be like standard looking. I would still put Ciro 3D Fang LEDs just because they have style, nice. Plus you can get black or chrome. I still would, but it is interesting because the Nightster came with LED all the way around. So I don't know. Maybe they're just using up old parts that they have because they use the same signals on every bike. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, who knows? Who knows? But
it's time to just go all LED. Come on.
Yep. Come on. So that was one of our cons, I guess, if you call it. Would any of this stop me from buying this bike?
No.
Absolutely not. If I was in the market for this particular bike, and we'll get into that when we get a little bit later in the episode on who's this bike for and what's the market for it and all that kind of stuff. Let's talk. We talk rider safety. So they've got why don't you talk about, unless you're busy?
I'm responding to somebody.
ST
Sorry.
must be the wife, the boss. It must be texting him because he's over here having a full text conversation and she wears the pants in the
Telling
family.
her I'm running late.
All right.
Which is common around here.
It is.
I'm just going to start telling you about a half hour earlier than I need to.
Well, it's because I forgot my helmet at the dealership and we had to go back and get my helmet. So.
And by the way, remember when I grabbed that helmet and said, you want me to throw this in the truck? Like, no, it'll be fine right there.
So you can only remember things once?
Apparently.
You could have did it after,
I did my part. It's not my helmet.
Right.
I tried to help you out. You just didn't take it.
ST Performance Kits, guys. Stage 1 Performance Kit, intake, slip-on exhaust, and Pro Street Tuner. A Stage 2 Performance Kit adds Screaming Eagle SE8-462 cams. And the Stage 4 Performance Kit bumps it up to a 131 kit. Comes with upgraded exhaust headers and Super Sucker high flow oil pump. So I will say, why don't you talk about... Actually, we'll come back to that. Let's see. What else about this bike? So I'll just say I did enjoy riding the heck out of it. Let me talk about the motor, the 117. It is peppy and it has a lot of torque. The nice thing is the solo seat on this is actually pretty comfortable. I was pretty impressed with the solo seat. Now, if I was going to Minnesota on it and it was my bike, I still would put a, heated, softer seat on it. But for stock, I have to say the seat was pretty good. And what I really liked about it is it really has slope up in the back. It's that solo seat, so it dips and then it slopes up in the back, which is really nice. It gave a lot of support, even without a backrest on there. And when you gunned it, threw you back in the seat and it kept you from sliding back. So I was liking the seat. Now, this Milwaukee-Eight 117, if you've ridden the Milwaukee-Eight or, even the prior engines, it's what you would expect. And that power band where you want to be, if you want that passing power or that torque, is right about that 3,500 RPM range. So if you can be in that, and I stayed in that a lot when I was riding the corners hard and, pushing and having fun, carving corners, carving the canyons. I kept it up there in that 3,500 RPM range, and I had plenty of power and, plenty of compression. When you let off the throttle, so you don't have to use your brakes and all that before and after corners. You can kind of just power through everything. So as to be expected there, the Milwaukee-Eight 117 performed perfectly. And what a smooth bike, a very tight feeling bike. Tracking was great, hands off the handlebars going down the freeway at 70, 80 miles an hour, and it tracked true. All in all, I don't think we talk about wheels. It's got coming with those bronze Prodigy wheels, which we've seen on the S models. like the Lowrider S, the S and STs and all that kind of stuff. So they were sticking with that bronze Prodigy. It's got dual front, as you would expect, disc front brakes and single rear disc brake. All right.
That 117 rips because we swapped bikes and we were getting on the freeway, and I just did what I would have normally done with my bike, and next thing I knew, I was moving. And like you said,
Lurch is still running the 103.
Yeah, I got 2015 Road Glide Special with the 103, and I just gave it the same amount of throttle I would normally with my bike, and I got up to freeway speed quite quickly.
Yes,
and it was very smooth, very smooth.
It's hard not to speed on the bike because it feels so smooth, and so it's just there.
Yeah.
And so you be careful on that bike, set the cruise control or whatever if you're worried about that, because it is easy to look down and go, oh, okay, well, I'm going just a little bit quick here. All right, so before we dive in, as we wind things down, we're going to get in deeper about what this bike's about, pricing, who's it for, and what our thoughts are on it. But why don't you, Lurch rode this bike. I'm 5'8". I have an inseam of 30. So I fit very comfortably on the bike. It was made for me. I actually sat very flat footed, and you'll see in the video, we actually show it out at the police course, show me sitting on it with lots of knee bend. So I would suspect that even if you were 5'4", 5'3", you could still sit on this bike. I'm not guaranteeing that, depends on your inseam, but you would be maybe flat-footed or just a little bit off. It's, even though it sits an inch higher, that solo seat really dips down. And without getting into we won't even look it up without getting in that. I'm sure we could find out what the seat height was, but why don't you, Lurch, before you look that up?
Okay.
The questions for you
right.
is, you rode the bike, and give your height, weight, and all that, and then the changes that you would make to the bike. And I rode it comfortably, and I had no negative effects of my size riding the bike. What say you?
Well, this isn't just for the Street Glide ST. This is an issue for me for all bikes. My 2015 Road Glide Special, as soon as I got it, I had to put bars on it to be comfortable. With the stock bars on both the Street Glide and the Road Glide, they're a little low and they're a little too far back for me. It's an uncomfortable riding position. So same with the ST. If I was to buy the ST, I would change out the bars. And again, that's not a knock on that bike. I would have to do it to all of them. And also I have long legs. I have 36-inch inseam.
It's the only long thing he has.
You were waiting for that because I saw you had your finger ready to hit the old button, so you had that joke in your head. So also on my 2015 Road Glide Special, I put the Ford floor pans. Extended reach floor boards, yeah.
Not pans, yeah.
Pans, boards, whatever. And I think I replaced the pan and the board because you keep the rubber.
Gotcha. They do call them pans, huh?
I
always think of pans as like oil pans and things like that.
Well, I think the whole thing together would be considered a floorboard. But the pan
is what the rubber thing goes in.
Yeah, so you reuse the rubber thing, and it just it moves it forward about an inch. And if I remember, you go out about a half inch. So it puts my longer legs in a comfortable riding position. And I also put an extended brake.
I did too, even at 5'8". I put an extended brake lever on my 14. It's just more comfortable. I don't like the stock ones. My foot cramps up on my ankle. I have to lift up so high. I hate it.
Yeah, and I don't know if, in my opinion, because I didn't have the same issue on my 08.
Nah, me neither.
I think when they went to that Rushmore bike at 14, they started changing it up a little bit. And it's the same with this Street Glide ST. I really had to pull my foot back and out and up to get to the brake. It wasn't really comfortable. But here's the one issue I did have with the ST, and it's the high performance intake. It's got that
super sucker thing,
or snorkel or whatever you want to call it. You know, it
looks badass
out and turns forward, and it's got an exposed breather. It does look badass, but it's in the way for me with my inseam. My shin was up against it. And like with my bike now with the stock air cover, I've got a stage 1 kit on, but I still have the stock intake cover. My leg goes around that and I don't even know it's there. So if I was to purchase one of these STs, I would have to change that intake, and there are the ones available. So would it stop me from buying it? No, but something if you're a tall rider to be aware of.
Yep. And if I remember right, in the video, I interview you and you said that it actually, because that's there too, it also made hard getting on the brake.
Yes, true.
Just because you're pushed back or your shins up against it. And you'll see that in the video. I get some really good shots of Lurch riding, and you can see how much, if you're a taller rider, it'll give you a good idea of how that bike's going to fit somebody of a 6'4" stature. So check the video out for that for sure. Taller riders, there are things to deal with, but if you're normal sized and a normal human being like me at 5'8", things are just made for us. I'm just saying.
You're average. Good
just
job.
Saying.
Ride longer and treat your ass with some respect already. Get hooked up with a premium butt buffer seat cushion. This company of bikers developed a super thin hospital-grade seat cushion made of solid and elastic materials. And unlike gel pads, it won't leak if punctured. The butt buffer is designed not to slide around your seat, fits all motorcycles, installs in seconds, cleans easily, and helps dampen vibration.
Oh, that ass.
With plenty of models to choose from, they assure you'll have a comfortable ass when riding. Head on over to the Law-Abiding Biker store and check out our full line of butt buffer seat cushions.
Respect that ass.
It's hard to read when you're doing that.
We will be respecting our asses when we ride to Minnesota. And if I left home without my butt buffer seat cushion, I'd turn my ass around and come back home and get it. Or I'd call Big Daddy and say, I need you to expedite me to the next town. I need you to expedite a butt buffer seat cushion. They are absolutely amazing, a must-have. I don't care how good a seat you have. I have the Harley Hammock heated, and even with it, it's fine. And some people ask me, speaking of seat cushions, I have a heated seat. Does the heat go through the butt buffer seat cushion? Yes, it does, but it takes a little bit.
You got to warm up the cushion.
You got to warm up the cushion, and then the cushion gets warm, and then your ass gets warm. So it's not as quick as just sitting on the seat, but it does warm through that. All right, as we wind it down here, let's go over this, Lurch. Let's go over, I'll start with pricing. So the Street Glide ST with rider enhancements. Can you get it without rider enhancements?
I believe so. Let me look.
Oh, I was confused on that, but as he's looking that up, the Street Glide ST with rider enhancements is coming in starting at $31,024. The Street Glide Special with rider enhancements, which you can get with or without, I do know that, is coming in at $28,474 for a difference of $2,500. The ST is $2,500 more than the special models.
Let me clarify your question. Are you asking if the ST can come with or without?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
With or without rider enhancements. I don't think it can because it's the ST, but I will gladly be corrected from Lurch over there, who is actively seeking the answer for that. So
I don't think so. When you look on the website, there's only one price.
Yep. That's what it comes with it, period, because that's what I thought. So I was correct. On that, which is rare. Okay, so pros, we talked about audio system. So let's talk about the stereo system.
Pretty damn good for the stock system.
It is.
That may just be the new Rockford Fosgate speakers.
Yep.
It's pretty loud, actually.
It's just running. There's no amp.
Nope, just running off the boom.
It's running off the boom, and it's pretty loud and pretty clear, even at freeway speeds. Now, we recently installed a Boss audio system. We sell it in our store. Make sure you check that episode out. And the Boss audio system coming in at $569 packs a punch at a budget-friendly price. And we have an install video on it too, but it beat it. It beat the stock system. So although for stock it sounded very clean and very loud, I still personally would upgrade to an aftermarket system. But pretty impressed for a stock system. I think both Lurch and I at full volume were pretty impressed that so much better than some of the old stock systems that they were coming out with. So we've already told some of our the rear bags, be aware of this. Another thing is the bags are square, so they're not contoured like on the special models to your pipes. They don't contour around, so they expose more of your pipes. It definitely just has a little bit different look. So take a look at the back of the bike. You'll see those big cutouts like we talked about, and you'll see the bags. I don't really see the bags as a con unless aesthetically you just don't like that. So be aware the bags are a little bit different. So
there's a little bit of weight savings there too with those smaller bags and potentially some better lean angle.
Some better lean angle, technically speaking, yes. All right. So let's talk about, before we give our final thoughts, we had a couple debacles that we'll quickly go over with.
Don't forget those.
We got to talk about the debacles. So we run and gun a lot, and we're trying to get the shots, and especially when we're doing documentary films. And as Lurch can tell you, how am I on equipment?
You're hard on equipment. Yeah.
Film gear equipment.
Because
I'm very hard.
Well, you're willing to risk the equipment to get the good shots. And you know, if you own a drone, it's just a matter of time probably when you crash one.
It's only like the fifth time.
And you've crashed them a few times trying to get those shots. And so the drone that we were using was a Skydio, and it has an auto tracking.
Skydio 2+.
2+, thank you. It's got a tracking beacon, and it's not supposed to crash. Kind
of like all dogs will bite at some point.
Yeah.
All drones will crash at some point.
So he's got a beacon that he puts in his pocket or on the bike somewhere, and then the drone will follow him. And it's not supposed to hit things, but this time it did. Yep. And we were running back and forth in the Yakima River Canyon. I was a little ways behind Ryan to stay out of the shot. And all of a sudden I see him slow down, then I see him turn around, and I pulled up. So what's going on? He goes, the drone crashed. Yeah. And we were right along the edge of the Yakima River. Down
a steep embankment.
And luckily,
I was able to track it with GPS. No, It took me right. I knew by GPS on my phone that we walked, and then I knew that it was in front of me, but And the reason I knew it didn't go in the water, I thought it went in the water because it crashed. The branches that it went in were overhanging the water.
Yeah.
And I knew, because I still had a GPS beacon on it, that it was not drowning.
And you were able to pull up a photo at one point to see what the camera was looking at. We just saw branches.
We just saw branches, yeah. But, we risked it all.
Yeah.
It was the gnarliest brush. And this is some of the stuff we're doing over on Instagram. If you guys haven't seen some of the behind the scenes stuff, at Scrappy 587 over there. We risked it, and I was able to crawl through this brush, and it was horrid trying to get through it. And I was right. I almost fell in the river.
Yeah, right on the edge.
I thought that my foot was going to give out and go in the river. The bank was giving way, but by God, we rescued it, and I put new props on it, and it's flying as of today. Although it was having a bunch of errors, and I've been in contact with Skydio. And anyways, we did a bunch of resets on it and all kinds of stuff, and the errors went away. And we flew it and now that's not the only drone we use. I won't get into drones. We've got 4 different drones. That's just one way we get some shots. A lot of shots I'm manually flying and getting. That's best to manually fly. We've done actually an complete episode on kind of drones on this podcast. Just search the website for drones or your podcast, whatever podcast player you're using, all into drones and what's best for best shots and all that kind of stuff. There's not one size fits all, but that's what we're using that day. Now I was testing the brakes, the next debacle. I was testing the brakes on this bike, and I was doing like we do on police motorcycles, emergency threshold braking, where I get up to speed and then I give them everything I got to get stopped as quickly as possible. Well, I have Life 360 on my phone, me and my family, and all of a sudden my phone started ringing. And I didn't answer it because we were in the middle of filming.
It was an unknown number.
Yeah, it was unknown.
San Francisco.
Right.
And we're in the canyon, which doesn't have the greatest cell signal anyway. So we got like one bar. And then the wife called, your wife.
Then when the wife called, I was like, okay, now the phone's been ringing off and my wife's calling is like, they're an emergency. And got a hold of my wife, and then I realized
I could hear her on the phone, and I heard her go, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, she was with my daughter there, and they're on speaker, and they're like, "Are you okay, Dad? Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm just riding in the canyon. What do you need?" They're like, "Life 360 is calling us saying you crashed." And so essentially, what we determined is that from a speed, I decelerated so quickly that the app thought that I had crashed, and emergency services were en route. On the message. And so I frantically called Life 360 back myself, plus my wife did, and told them, no, everything's okay. You can turn around emergency services. So yeah, there you go. Life 360 works. Next time I'm going to turn that off when I'm doing emergency threshold. Although we did emergency threshold braking, but I wasn't quite going as fast in the video when we were filming.
Going down the hill? No, you weren't going as quick.
But it never went off, and I was decelerating quick. So who knows? All right. This is the last debacle that we had. So I have to wear glasses now full time, even to read just the boombox clearly and things in front of me under my helmet. And I knew at some point, because we're in a hurry so much, that I put my helmet on and I put my glasses, I put them in my pocket or in the collar of my shirt while I'm putting my helmet on, because then I put them on after. And I knew eventually I was going to forget them. And I did. And Lurch was behind me. And we get going down the road to head home. And my glasses flew up and off and right into the lane of travel. You saw something. I realized what it was a little bit after.
As soon as I saw them, I knew, I could tell they were glasses. And I could not get stopped in time to grab them. I overshot them. So I spun around on the road, and of all things, another motorcyclist was coming down the canyon, which isn't uncommon. It's a beautiful ride, and a lot of people like to ride it. But I'm waving at him and pointing down at the road. I
flipped a bitch.
And you flipped a bitch and came up, and you stopped in the lane of travel and pointing down, and that guy just rode by with his ape hangers, his feet on
Never even slowed down.
Didn't even slow down.
I was basically going towards his lane.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like I was going to go across the center line, but he didn't give two shits.
I think he was just asleep.
Yep. And he literally
enjoying the scenery.
Hit the stem of them, like literally grazed one of the stems, and they spun around. And I will say that I'm wearing those glasses right now. Believe it or not, the lenses didn't get scratched, just the frame, just a little bit on the top of the frame. I can't believe. I thought for sure when he was going by, I was like, there, he's crushing them. He's crushing them. So anyways, lots of debacles. Let's wrap it up here. Let's see. I don't think we broke anything else.
Nope, no equipment. Just your glasses and a drone.
And a drone. That it's got lots of scratches on it, the drone, but it's still flying. So let's wind it down here with our final thoughts. So great foundation bike if you are going to build it out as more of a hot rod, guys. That's kind of what it's going for. Really, you're going to have to decide, do you want a Street Glide Special, or do you want to pay $2,500 for an ST model? The ST is designed for weight, power, and performance. It's faster, more nimble, and more lean angle. I believe it has more lean. It does for sure have more lean angle. Is it more nimble? It's a hard one for me.
Maybe. Hard to notice though. Huh?
It's hard to notice. It is faster. It's got a 117 in it, so that's fair. For the first time, of course, you get that CVO powertrain and a non-CVO bike. It's a blank canvas for those performance parts and those upgrades. Make sure you listen to LAB episode 295. We did a full episode on the Harley Street and Road Glide ST, where we talked with guests Paul James, Bjorn Schuster, and Eric Buckhouse of Harley-Davidson. They were involved with the creation of the ST. Really good episode. Again, lawabidingbiker.com/295. Now, me personally, I'd get the Street Glide Special and save the $2,500 just for touring. That's me. Because it already comes with passenger seat and it comes with passenger pegs, and it's set up for touring, and it's $2,500 cheaper, and still comes with a great Milwaukee-Eight motor. The ST is set up for a solo rider. You'd have to add, so on top of that $2,500, you got to add a seat and foot pegs for a passenger at least. And that's why the ST really raises some hard questions. And I think one of the questions that is out there, if Harley-Davidson truly wants to deliver a high-performance bagger, why not build two all-out models with, influence and learnings from the Screaming Eagle factory, maybe with mid controls, a Street Glide with mid controls, a taller seat height, and trick components, like Öhlins out of the factory. Now you can get Öhlins for this, but Öhlins out of the factory, develop shocks, in a 131 cubic inch, stage 4 Milwaukee-Eight crate engine already available, in the parts catalog. Here's the answer. And this is straight from Brad Richards, the VP of Styling and Design. I got to interview him on my Lowrider ST video, so check that video out, my review on the Lowrider ST. But here's how Brad Richards responds. He said, the ST models are a good step into warming up Harley-Davidson customers and dealers to the high-performance bagger trend before going full-on with a true performance race-inspired machine. It's part of the beginning of a new narrative of Harley-Davidson and changing the perspective of what the brand can produce. You have any follow-up on that, Lurch?
Well, the big question is, should I get the ST or Special? And it just depends on the type of riding that you're going to do with it. You said it well. If you're going to do long distance touring, why not just get the special and it's set up for it? If you're going to be ripping around town and maybe not doing as much long distance, maybe the
or you want to
STs,
build it out,
or you want to build it out and make it just crazy.
Put
Maybe
Olin
the STs
shocks on it.
go. Can you tour on this? The ST? Absolutely, you could. You just have to add a little bit to it to make it ready for a passenger, like I said. So it really depends on the motor. Do you want that hotter motor or not?
Yep.
It's going to be a personal choice, really.
Yep.
We can't recommend one or the other. It's really going to be the type of riding that you do and what you want.
Yep, and how much coin you got.
Yep.
Now, we appreciate our sponsors, our patron members. We love you. We want to get to know you better. We want you in the private Facebook group. We want to give you benefits, but hey, if the only way you want to support us is through a flat donation, where we never balk at a flat donation.
Sorry, I was looking at this name.
Vic Ramjit Singh, Fred
bad.
DeFranco of Olmsted Falls, Ohio, and Joseph Maliki. lawabidingbiker.com/donate. We're on a timeline. Lurch has got to get out of town.
Yeah.
So we're closing this show down. Don't forget lawabidingbiker.com/fresh-butt. That's BUTT. Get your butt smelling and get it just squeaky clean. It's like a breath mint for your ass. And they are really great, guys. We don't have any affiliation with the company.
No, we just like them.
We just get affiliate. If you click through that link and make a purchase, we get a small commission. We just absolutely really like them.
Yeah, a little Amazon affiliate. We get a little taste.
Why don't you do this,
breath
Lurch?
mint. Bug Slide. Don't ride without the slide, bikeaholics. Bug Slide. Absolutely the best waterless motorcycle cleaner on the market. Bug Slide. Tried and tested by the law-abiding biker crew, and it's our #1 go-to waterless motorcycle cleaner. Bug Slide cleans, shines, and degreases while removing bugs and other surface contaminants with ease. Use it on your motorcycle, car, boat, and more. Never need to wax again. The release agent in Bug Slide contains a UV filter for added protection. It's free of abrasives and is safe on all porous surfaces. Use it on your helmet and face shield. Yep, even safe for your Harley denim paint. We believe in it so much we carry it in stock right in our Law Abiding Biker store. lawabidingbiker.com/store. Big Daddy Kane has it ready to ship to you right now.
Goat. There you go, guys. That's all we carry on our trips. A bottle of Bug Slide and microfiber cloths that comes with there, guys. We really appreciate you being here. And, there's lots of ways to support us. But, hey, right now, if you're in a bind, you just can't financially, support us, well, at least follow us on all those social media channels and make sure you rate us on your podcast app, especially in iTunes and Stitcher Radio and Google Podcasts and all that, guys. Give us a 5-star review. Helps us bump us up in the rankings so more bikers around the world can find us and join this thing we call
the Biker Revolution.
And get out there and freaking ride. That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate all you guys. We appreciate our audience so much. 9 years and going strong, guys. And it's a direct result of the support we get, really, from our patron members. They are a staple of what we do around here financially and able to upgrade our gear and replace broken stuff that we break. But yeah, we just, we love everybody, but we just really are humbled by the support of patron members out there. I think I'm going to shed a tear tonight, Lurch.
Why's that?
Because we had to turn that ST back in, dude.
The garage is looking a little bare.
I was just loving that bike so much, dude. It was so fun to ride. /fresh-butt.